You know, when someone that's been in the industry a long time tells you this and you don't believe it, well, you know, you don't belong in the industry. But before we start with this video, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share this video, because we're still being shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. I want to thank those who have subscribed. We've had a bit of a push on subscriberships this past weekend, which I thank you for those who've joined the family. And, you know, this is the things that have been going on for quite some time. Also, please support us on ODYSEE and BitChute, as we have exclusive content available for you on both of those social media platforms. Now, if you're not familiar with the name Chuck Dixon, he's been working on the Batman series for quite some time. He is the co-creator of Bane. And, you know, he had some choice words for the comic book industry. He has a podcast, and a person had asked him, he said, what were your thoughts and theory on why manga is wiping the floor with American comics? And according to Bounding Into Comics, we'll take a little bit of his what he says here. Dixon answered, "It's not too hard to figure out, really. There's a lot of dedication, passion, and the craft in manga comics, and that's missing almost entirely from the big two." He elaborated, "Marvel and DC still run the store here. They are still the market leaders, and unfortunately, there is no variety out there. There's nothing really different. There's not something for everyone the way there is in manga." And we've been saying for this, the reason why manga is very popular and why anime is very popular, there is something for everyone. You know, doesn't matter what you like, what you dislike, there's something out there you might enjoy. Dixon then touted the artwork in manga is not hard to see. The artwork is attractive. It's different. It's engaging. It's interesting. It's varied. So there's a lot of reasons to like manga, and not a whole lot of reasons to like what's out now, meaning the comic book industry, because of what's out now. For the big two is the most partly poorly crafted. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, it's poorly crafted, poorly conceived. There is an obvious political agenda to everything, and there's no variety. Dixon then explained that the variety of Japanese manga has, in Japanese manga, there's golf comics. Golf comics, yeah, folks, there's golf comics, there's volleyball, basketball. I mean, there's a joke on Yellow Flash. He said, "Oh, why don't you, on his live feeds, why don't you watch some basketball manga? I mean, some basketball anime." There's not one comic about golf. There are multiple comics. There's not one comic about golf. There are multiple comics about golf. He continued, "I've made references on these videos to one of my favorite mangas about fishing." Yes, that's right. There's even a fishing manga. It's just about fishing. It's nothing about vampires fishing on another planet, or witches fishing, or fishing after a zombie apocalypse. This is about guys fishing, surf casting, and whatever. Fishing from boats, fishing from shore, fishing from the banks of the rivers, and the stories are fascinating and beautifully drawn and beautifully realized. He then contrasted that with American comics, but here, what do we get? We get superheroes and poorly done superheroes. I have to 100% agree with him. There really isn't anything else at the mainstream companies. It's superheroes, 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 and they are all avatars from the writer's political agenda. 110% agree with that. And they are kind of tiresome. They're not particularly well drawn, no shit, and they're not particularly well realized. Dixon then questioned, "Why would you want to read this crap? If you had a choice of reading a genre that you prefer, it'd be horror or mystery or espionage or golf, Well, there's one flavor in American comics. Of course, Japanese comics are going to win the day, or manga, as I would put prospectively. He went on, the biggest problem here is that all I see is American comic book creators, the people in the mainstream do, is complain about manga. Well, why don't you learn from manga? Why don't you look at what manga is doing and doing that? And that's correct. That is correct. Dixion then offered a solution for the American comics to compete. And I don't mean draw people with huge eyes and a lot of speed lines. Correct. I do mean various stories, do complex stories, put more effort into the artwork, put more effort into the craft, change the format, for God's sake. Stop doing the little folio comics and look what manga does. These big fat telephone books, comics release weekly. These things like that just change the formula. Look what manga is doing. Why is manga successful? Try to copy that. And he is correct. He is absolutely slam on correct. I mean, you can go the rest of the podcast on there with him. He goes into a more deep into there. But you have to understand, there's some great stuff out there. It is from an artistic point of view. As Quentin Tarantino says, the problem in Hollywood is they become ideologists and not artists. And that's the same thing with the comic book industry. What's big hits out there? You got guys like Ethan Van Sciver, Sweetcast, Alterna Comics. They're putting comics out there that are so much better stories. I'm reading a story about a woman who is a security guard at a early Hollywood studio. That's different. That's really different. It's not that she's a superhero or anything. She's a security guard and dealing with her days as being a security guard in a time period where Hollywood is just growing at that point. I mean, you check it out. It's on Alterna Comics on there. We'll show you the clip right up here. Yeah, there we go. There is plenty of independent comic books out there that are really good. There's plenty of manga. So DC and Marvel, straighten up, because you're dying. You're dying. In fact, one of you are already dead and don't even know it. So please support manga out there. Continue to support it. Support the anime. Support the independent guys. I don't care if they're in Comicsgate or not. If you're putting out a good product, I'm going to praise it. I don't give a shit on their politics, as long as they don't put the politics into the freaking comic. This is why Ethan Van is doing very well. A lot of people don't like him. Fine, plain and simple. Is he putting out a good product? Yeah. Can you tout how many people don't like certain authors around, and still that they're putting out award-winning product? Yeah. There's a lot of them out there, and they're still hated. So you reached this part of the video. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share this video. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now. Oh, and before we go, don't forget to check out our new Teespring shop, our Q2Cast shop, and at our new address, Shop Q2Cast, where you could check out our new anime shirts that we have out. Anime shirts, pillows, just in time for the spring and summer. Go check them out. And we have some of our classics still available there from our TV shows. And we have more t-shirts on the way. We're redesigning the Q2Cast shop, our merch shop. We have a lot more coming. So do check us out. That's shopq2cast.com. One more time, that's shopq2cast.com. It is up and available just for you. And remember, all proceeds go to help this channel.